this is really our only piece of hardware that we need is some kind of MIDI keyboard. We don't need an audio interface, although an audio interface may help you. And I'll explain that in just a second. Actually, I'll explain that right now. So when we plug in one of these to our computer, here's how we're going to do it. If you have one like this or anything that's new-ish in the last like 5 or so years, it's going to have a USB output on it. This one, where'd it go? Right here, USB. So I can plug this in just with USB. That's all I need to do. So a lot of audio interfaces have a USB port for this reason. You can plug it into the USB port on the audio interface, but you don't need to. You can put it in any USB port. It's just fine. But if you have anything older, like a bigger keyboard or something, it might have actual MIDI outputs on it. So I was looking around my studio for something that has old school MIDI outputs. And the only device I could find quickly accessible was this. This is a Novation Remote Zero. So this has no keyboard, although they do make a version with a keyboard. It's just controllers. So it's faders, so you can map this to your the faders on the screen. It's got some drum pads and some dials that you can map to do different things. I used to use this as a live performance tool. But on the back, you can see that it has, where are they? Here. These are MIDI outputs and inputs, okay? So they have this 5-pin connection. So I can't easily plug this into my computer. So if I really wanted to use this with the MIDI ports, I need to get a MIDI cable, and I need to have a box that converts a MIDI signal to a USB signal, okay? I can get a cheap little box that does that, or a lot of audio interfaces have that built in as well. So something to consider when you're buying an audio interface, if you want to use an older keyboard like that, you're going to need one that has MIDI ports. Now, luckily, this one has both. It has MIDI ports and a USB right there. So I can just plug this in with USB, which is how I used to use it. So we really just got to plug this into our computer, and then we're good to go. There's some setup stuff we need to do in live, so we'll do that in just a second. But I want to go into another kind of like buyer's guide thing, and also show you how MIDI guitars work while we're on the topic, because I happen to have one right here.